When I was a little younger, I'm slightly older right now, I had a vicious dream, and my dream was to own a VW Golf Mark 5, GTI to be specific, and don't ask me why. And as I progressed on and became a bit wiser, I found myself watching one serious movie by the title The Italian Job. And in that movie, just a brief synopsis, is a group of friends who went out to steal gold. And after they did it, one of their friends turned against them and stole the gold from them, killing their chief or their leader, which made them quite disappointed and angry. And the entire series or the entire movie is pegged upon them trying to steal the gold back from their friend. And they used all sorts of tricks. And one more interesting thing is, at the final end of them getting their gold back, they packed that gold in three, a blue, a white, and a red Mini Cooper. And from there, my life changed, because the chase that ensued after carrying 1,350 kgs of each part of that gold heist made me realize I needed to have better priorities in life in regards to which car I need to buy. And so I moved from the Golf Mark 5 GTI to a Mini Cooper S. And then I asked myself, wait, I'm in Kenya. I need a reliable, affordable car. A car I can abuse, because this was supposed to be my first car. And all this led me to meet this is the 2018 Suzuki Swift Sport. And it's everything the Mini Cooper is, but it's nothing forever and ever the Mini Cooper will ever be. Design is just not what it looks and feels like. Design is how it all works. That is a quote by a billionaire philanthropist, Steve Jobs. So aesthetically, what makes the Suzuki Swift Sport different from your kawaida Suzuki Swift? Number one is an aggressive and sporty front and rear bumper. And the rear bumper comes attached to a dual exhaust. That sounds a bit there or here, but I believe you can do something better and get it to give you a superb sound. Something that this car has that is unique and special against the kawaida Suzuki Swift Sport is the interior. So you'll have red accents in the interior. And finally, when it comes to the exterior, you are getting a Suzuki Swift Sport with either size 16 or 17 wheels. This particular one is coming in size 17, but depending on the market you're buying this car from, then you can get either 16 or 17. In this color that Mbugu and the Gen Zs call Champion Yellow. You know, it's coming with extras like a carbon fiber lip at the front bumper and the side skirt as well, which makes this car look superb and special. I bet whoever is going to buy this car is going to enjoy all these interesting look aspects. But does it look as good as it drives? Let's find out. Under the hood of this Suzuki Swift Sport is a 1400cc turbocharged direct injection engine called K14C, developed, tuned, designed by Suzuki. And I know you're asking, so what is so special about this particular engine? Well, it puts out 140 HP and 230 Newton meters of torque. And I know those numbers are not something to smile about. But I'll tell you one thing, if you take those numbers and pair up with a car that weighs around 970 kgs, quite beautiful, quite awesome. And that is something special about this car. Woo! So let's talk about what exactly drives the power down to the wheels. Now, the Suzuki Swift Sport is special because it only comes with 2 transmission options. You either get a 6-speed manual, which is something that I will die for, or you'll die for if you're a guy who enjoys the control of driving a car yourself. But this particular one comes with a 6-speed automatic transmission, something I really appreciate Suzuki about, because they are in to keep the driver experience intact in every car that wears a sport badge. And you know, these are things that we enjoy about Suzuki. And Suzuki has a legendary name, by the way, around motorsport. It's only that right now they've detoured slightly away from it. But that is something special. And this 6-speed auto is not as smooth as what you'll find on a Mini Cooper S. But heck yeah, it does what they say it does. So it's something special. Look at that. Woo. When it comes to handling, this is where this car becomes a complete rocket pocket. The suspension is quite stiff. That is normal for a sports car. But something it does is it gives you a bit of understeer. When you go into corners, I can tell you for a fact, you can always trust the Suzuki Swift Sport. Hey, stop just a second. If you're watching this video, I know probably you're looking into car ownership. And that means that either you already found a car that you're looking into buying, or you are in the process of shopping around. Let me introduce you to some service that we offer at CARSURE.Africa. And this is a pre-purchase inspection. Do not buy a car before you know how mechanical fit that car is. And CARSURE or Conversation, we offer a comprehensive pre-purchase inspection so that you and the rest of the people that are going to be in that car will enjoy a safe environment and a car ownership experience. Something else that we do is offer consultation in case you're not sure. Is this car good for me? Is that particular car good for my mother or my sister or my brother? Feel free to call me individually and I'll be here to help you navigate the ramnails of getting down to a decision of buying the right car. So let me get away and allow you to continue watching this epic review of the Suzuki Swift Sport. What could possibly go wrong if you buy the Suzuki Swift Sport with the K14C booster jet turbocharged engine? And the answer is absolutely nothing. You buy this car and drive the heck out of it. Okay, I know if there is a company that has mastered the art of creating and keeping those engines reliable, is Suzuki. And I'm talking about smaller engines. I know we have a struggle with other companies like VW, and I don't want to talk about Peugeot with their PureTech engine, which is another disaster I'll talk to you about. But Suzuki have mastered the art of keeping their small engines either turbocharged or non-turbocharged quite reliable. And you'll find them scattered in so many other cars on the Suzuki lineup, like the Suzuki Jimny, which is hyped. And I need you guys to tell me, do you want a review of that on this channel? If so, tell me in the comments, and I'll make sure I hook you up with one epic review of the Suzuki Jimny. If possible, we get a Sierra, perfect. Can you tune it? And the answer is yes, but not aggressively. And that is down to the aluminium block and the aluminium head for weight saving on this car to make it a bit more sportier. But what can you exactly do on this engine? Number one, you can do an ECU remap to get a bit of more power. And something else you can do is you can also tune your turbo. Away from that, I believe Suzuki have done a good job in just squeezing out every ounce of horsepower and torque that you can get from this engine. And since we are tangling between reliability and performance, I would recommend you keep it simple and legit, because this car is something that you really want to enjoy and not question yourself about reliability. Of many surprises that this Suzuki Swift Sport has, one of them is how Suzuki, is it an engineer or I don't know, I hope there are many, but that engineer is an absolute genius, because how they've managed to give us this seat is extremely at the point where I'm comfortable as a driver, and still I get an awesome legroom and a huge headroom. I reckon a guy who is slightly taller than myself, I'm thinking maybe 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", because I'm 6'2", they'll still fit in. But again, it gets a bit interesting and more better because they've given you a set of ISOFIX points, one for this seat and the other one for this seat, which makes this car the most affordable, sporty, family-oriented hatchback that money can buy. You get all the entire torque, 230 Newton meters of torque at only 1,500 of engine rotation, which is quite special and beautiful. Right now, I'm just coasting in manual mode, gear number 5, and the car feels quite awesome. Now, if you've driven an 1800cc or a 2000cc, then believe me, this car feels like you're driving that sort of engine capacity. And I'll argue that it feels slightly more punchier and more powerful. Something that I really enjoy about this particular car. Away from that, the sitting position for a tall person, I don't know, I feel it's slightly higher. You know, it doesn't sit like a sports car. So I'll reckon if you can, and you're a tall person more than me, then I'll recommend that you lower this seat slightly down so that you fit in comfortable. But for a guy of my height or maybe a shorter person, trust me, this seat is quite awesome. And talking about the seats, these are sporty and they hug you in, they tuck you in quite awesome. And it's a car that you really enjoy driving on your everyday adventure. Not only will you enjoy the sportiness out of it, but it's a car that you really do a daily out of it without compromise.
Now, let's be real for a second. The Swift Sport is quick, agile, and loves corners, but those stock brakes, they don't quite match the hype. If you're planning to push this little beast the way it begs to be driven, a brake upgrade should be high on your list. After all, if you're going to fly into corners, you need the confidence to stop just as hard. And while we are talking upgrades, let's address the elephant in the room, the exhaust. The cabin doesn't do much to hide outside noise, but ironically, the exhaust doesn't add any drama either. It's a bit too tame for a car that looks and drives this feisty. Throw on a proper performance exhaust and you unlock the missing attitude. Fix those two, brakes, exhaust, and boom, you've got yourself a proper little monster, ready to embarrass bigger cars and do it with a cheeky grin.
And finally, I believe it's time for us to separate the Suzuki Swift Sport and take the sport out of it and confirm, does that sport really translate to anything? Here goes nothing. Let's confirm what the numbers say. Okay, 0 to 100 in 8.3 seconds. The flies are trying to enjoy the celebration of the numbers because this car is rated at 7.1, 0 to 100. So on a slightly rainy day, different atmosphere, different temperatures, getting 8.3 on this car, 1400cc, turbocharged, for me that's an absolute win. A dream will always come through if you're willing to follow through all the difficult work that is required to make it come true. Sometimes it might not come in the same shape and form that you'll wish it to, but a little bit compromise here and there, and you get yourself a perfect partner. A partner that understands your pocket, a partner that is raunchy enough to give you the sporty vibe that you're looking for, and a partner that will carry you through the good and the bad. And the best way I can describe this car is that short girlfriend that is quite crazy. But no matter what you do to her, she will always love you to the moon and back. And that is the Suzuki Swift Sport for me.